The UK economy is stuck in a rut with annual economic growth set for its lowest level since the financial crisis. At least that's according to the British Chambers of Commerce's latest quarterly economic survey, which also found that the percentage of services firms attempting to recruit is at the lowest level in 25 years. Joining me now is Surin Thuru, BCC's Head of Economics. Surin, thanks so much for coming in. So what's driving the weakness in your growth outlook?
Well, there's a couple of key areas we're seeing in our survey. Well, I guess in general terms, what we're seeing is businesses taking a bit of a step back. So you mentioned the key stat around in the services sector with those firms tending to recruit at its lowest level 25 years. Clearly, that's a key concern. But there's other areas of concern as well. So in the manufacturing sector, we're seeing export activity weaken to its lowest level for a couple of years. And I think what we're seeing is the recent sweet spot for UK exporters, the weaker sterling, the strong growth in key global markets, starting to wane a little bit. And that's had an impact on the UK manufacturing sector, which is a weak point for the economy, particularly the first part of this year. And so what we're also seeing, some of those forward-looking indicators, such as business confidence and investment tensions, also weakening in the quarter, mainly driven by some of the wider Brexit uncertainty and wider economic uncertainty as well. So actually that's a concern, because that means that growth overall may come under pressure in the next couple of quarters.
So you pointed to factors driving the weakness in both the manufacturing and the services sector. Which side are you more concerned about? Clearly services has a larger weighting in terms of its role in the UK economy. So are you more concerned about the services sector, or are you equally worried about issues in both?
Well, probably a bit of both, really. In the services sector, it's quite interesting. So you break that services sector down a bit more. So you split between B2B businesses and those consumer-focused industries, such as retail and hospitality. Now, B2B businesses are doing pretty well at the moment, and the key indicators are pretty strong. In contrast to retail-focused sectors, such as we've seen on the high street, for example, are facing a real struggle. One of the things we do measure is cash flow. And what we're seeing is in the retail sector, cash flow is really tight at the moment, and that's having an impact we're seeing on the high street, and it's clearly a concern. On the manufacturing side, I think that's, again, sort of a concern. We're seeing it's been pretty weak for the last few quarters after a relatively strong couple of years. I think what's hurting them at the moment is the high cost of imported raw materials. And that's shown in our own survey, that impact on business, on price pressures, is at its highest level for around 7 years. So I think that's squeezing businesses. What's hurting both manufacturing and services business, there's actually issues with the domestic business environment. So things like business rates are having key impact on the high street in particular.
So what's happening in the recruitment space? Because it seems as though there's a lot of challenges to fill these vacancies. What's going on there?
Well, what we're seeing is that because what we've seen is that recruitment difficulty in particular have been close to a record high for a number of years now. And that's driving a number of things. There's driving, and of course, as what we're saying, it's across not just high skilled, but also low skilled as well, and across the economy as well. So it's a economy-wide issue and across the UK issue. But what we're seeing is that businesses are struggling to find the right people, either locally but also internationally as well.
Is this because of Brexit?
I think that's leading to the concern, but of course recruitment difficulties have been challenged for a number of years now, before Brexit wasn't even on the horizon, so that's important to note. But what's driven some of these numbers we're seeing at the moment, particularly a weakening in attempts to recruit, is concerns about the future. It's concerns about what the post-Brexit migration system might look like, and that's a key concern, but also the realisation that they're struggling to find the skills here at home.
Now, we've got the autumn budget due on the 29th of October. That's obviously brought forward, so it's a bit earlier than it normally is. What are you hoping to come out of that for businesses?
Well, businesses need a real game changer. This budget needs to be a real game changer for the UK economy more widely. And what we want to see is a focus on boosting business investment and productivity. Boosting business investment, we're looking at how can you incentivise investment, new investment, also getting businesses to bring forward investment as well, because I think that's key. That will help boost productivity and growth. And a number of ways you can do that. Firstly, you can look at the investment allowances, the annual investment allowance. We think that should be increased significantly for a short period of time to draw in investment. But also you look at some of those easing the burden, upfront cost burden on businesses. So tackling business rates is another key issue. And one of the things we want a chance to do is use the autumn budget to look at ways of easing the strain on high street businesses by looking to tackle business rates there as well. So
are you expecting us to get some kind of Brexit deal anytime soon? I know that there's been messages out there suggesting that it could be as soon as in the next fortnight, others pointing more towards Christmas. Where do you stand, and what do you think that deal might end up looking like?
Well, we're hopeful that there will be a deal at some point, but of course the businesses, the focus is very much on the practical rather than the political. A number of key questions around customs, around trade, around people still haven't been answered yet. And without getting answers to those key questions, we're seeing businesses rein back in activity. So I think that's important. So because we're not getting those answers to those key practical questions, real world questions, even if you do get a deal in the next couple of months, which is possible, not trying to deal with those long-term structural issues, those questions around people, customs to trade, etc. That means that we're not going to get the sort of long-term impacts on boosting investment and trade.
So when we get a deal, do you think a lot of those practical questions will remain unanswered?
That's our fear, and as I said, the BCC have been tracking sort of the key practical questions for UK businesses, and what we're seeing is most of those questions have been left unanswered. And as I said, that's having a real impact on activity at the moment. Businesses are reining back investment, confidence is weakening, we're seeing attempts to recruit fall back as well. So businesses are essentially taking a step back from activity, and that will have an impact on the wider economy going forward.
So you pointed to Brexit uncertainty when you were talking about your growth forecasts and a lot of the doom and gloom within your report. So when we do get a deal, is that going to take away some of that uncertainty and be positive for business and potentially the economy?
It will help alleviate some of that uncertainty, which is weighing certainly on the trade side and also investment as well. But of course, a lot of the issues undermining UK economic growth prospects actually been here for a number of years, are domestic-led. It's the domestic agenda, which sadly has been largely neglected over the last couple of years. Things like our digital and physical infrastructure, which is weak compared to our competitors, and also the skills gap as well. That's been there for a number of years. And if you deal with those issues, as much as getting a Brexit deal, we need to deal with those domestic issues if we're going to boost productivity and growth over the long term.
Suren, thank you so much for your time. That was Suren Thuru, Head of Economics at the BCC. I'm Victoria Scholar. Thanks for watching IGTV, and we'll see you very soon.